Start with the quantitative analysis which I was referring to. Quantitative analysis of Moss differential pair. Qualitative analysis, I have already told you what exactly we mean by the qualitative analysis in the previous class itself. Now, this quantitative analysis of the Moss differential pair is basically the quantification of behavior. Okay, please try to understand this carefully. The quantification of behavior of Moss differential pair as a function of the input differential voltage using a large signal analysis. We have already spoken about the small signal analysis in the previous class, wherein we will basically focus or concentrate on only the linear region of operation, right? Whereas in the large signal analysis, we go beyond the linear region, right? It could be either in the cutoff region or even in the saturation region. So that is what is referred to as large signal analysis. So now, before I proceed here, let me first draw the Moss differential pair as it is, what we have taken in our previous class. Please, all of you, draw this. Once again, so I have two resistances RD1 and RD2 as usual. Then we have got two Moss devices, the same thing which we have taken in the previous class would continue here. Then we have got one current source here, ISS. This I call it as ISS. Then this is my VDD. So this is V out 1 and this is V out 2. This is M1, the first transistor. This is M2, the second transistor. So now here I have got V in 1 and this is V in 2 as usual. This is VDD. So RD1 is equals to RD2, that is equals to RD. That is the reason why I straight away write it as I will write it as RD1 and RD2 only here. Then these are N type of transistors. This point I would call it as P. This is important for us. So this is what is the diagram of a differential pair which we have taken earlier. Now we will try to correlate the different expressions, right? The expressions to get the quantitative analysis, wherein we will quantify the behavior of Moss differential pair as a function of the input differential voltage using the large signal analysis, right? So now from this circuit whatever we have considered here, we can write, okay, V out 1, all of you please write these things. V out 1 is equals to VDD minus RD1 into ID1. If you consider the current through the first transistor as ID1, this will be VDD minus RD1 into ID1. Similarly, Vout2, all of you please have a pen and paper with you, because these things are very important even from the point of view of examination. There is some problem here. 1 second. Vout2 is equals to VDD minus RD2 into ID2. This I call as equation number 2. Equation number 2. Now, if you manipulate these two equations, change the sign, simple mathematics. So Vout1 please wait. I use this method. Yeah, Vout1 minus Vout2 is equals to, please check, Vout1 minus Vout2 is equals to minus RD1 into ID1 plus RD2 into ID2. Vout1 minus Vout2 is equals to minus RD1 into ID1 plus RD2 into ID2. So, we can also write this equation as, since my RD1 is equals to RD2 which is equals to RD, I can write this as RD into ID2 minus ID1. RD into ID2 minus ID1. So now we have got Vout1 minus Vout2 is equals to RD into ID2 minus ID1. Now we will have to calculate the values of ID1 and ID2 in terms of V in 1 and V in 2. Now calculate the values of ID1 and ID2 in terms of V in 1 and V in 2. Now we will try to take this in terms of the input voltages V in 1 and V in 2. Let's take these things properly, V in 2 and V in 1, and here we will have to make a small assumption, assuming first one, the circuit is symmetric. You know what is the meaning of the circuit being symmetric? Is the circuit is symmetric, right? And both M1 and M2 are saturated. This is a very important assumption. M1 and M1 and M2 M1 and M2 are saturated. What do you mean by saturated? They are operating in the region of saturation, right? So for which we have got the different expressions for the current ID, which I had deliberately not given in the previous class. I had told you that I will be giving those expressions in your subsequent classes, right? So now we are assuming the operation of these two transistors in the region of saturation, and you have got one more point, that is lambda. Okay, we have not yet come across this, right? So this lambda is called channel length modulation. I don't know whether you have heard about this word in your analog electronics or not. Otherwise also we will discuss about this channel length modulation. The lambda value is equal to 0. There is no need for the channel length modulation. I will tell you, right, when we discuss about the current mirror circuits, right? And these are some of the constraints, right, over which your MOS devices are going to operate. We have to assume a symmetric operation of the circuit, right? So then we have to have both M1 and M2 to be operated in the region of saturation, wherein you have got an expression for ID. Then we have got the channel length modulation parameter, which is generally considered in the operation of MOS devices, right? So that is assumed to be 0 in this case, right? So with these three parameters, right, we will now proceed further to obtain the expressions for ID1 and ID2 in terms of V in 1 and V in 2, the input voltage, right? So now if you look at this diagram, please refer to the point P here. Refer to the point P. Okay. So V in 1, the voltage at P, you can write it, the voltage at P, the voltage at P, the voltage at point P. Okay. So this voltage at point P can be written as V in 1 minus VGS1. Am I right? V in 1 minus VGS1. So V in 1 minus VGS1, which is also equal to V in 2 minus VGS2. V in 1, this is your VGS1 and this is your VGS2, right? So the potential at P is V in 1 minus VGS1, which is also equal to V in 2 minus VGS2. Now we are trying to correlate these V ins into VGSs so that we can get an expression for ID1 and ID2 in terms of V in 1 and V in 2. Okay. So now from here I should be able to write V in 1. These are simple mathematical manipulations. V in 1 minus V in 2 is equals to VGS1 minus VGS2. So let me call this as equation number 2. Suppose if I consider this as equation number 1, right? Let us say that this is the equation number 1. Somewhere I had written 1 and 2 earlier also. Let us not, yeah, this one. Okay, let me call this as A and this is equation number B, A and B. So V in 1 minus V in 2 is equals to VGS1 minus VGS2. Now we have something called as square law. Square law. So as per the square law, either the voltage or current will depend on the square of the other parameter, right? So that means I can have, as per the square law, current is proportional to voltage square here, right? This is as per the square law, right? I don't know whether you have come across this square law in the basic, the BJT operations or not, but please take it like this. In the square law, the device, the current or the voltage depends upon the square of the other parameter. If the current is dependent on the voltage to the power 2, and if you take the voltage, it depends on the square of the current, right? And basically for the saturated MOSFET, so basically this is for a saturated MOSFET, you can have I proportional to V square, right? So now we have got one very important expression, whether in the previous class I had deliberately not given that particular expression. So we will try to write it. This is for the current flowing through a MOSFET when the MOSFET is in the saturation region. I just write it here. ID, the drain current, whenever the MOSFET is conducting in the saturation region, it is given by half mu n COX, half mu n COX into W by L. This is a very, very important expression. W by L into VGS minus VTH whole square as per the square law. So ID, the drain current, is given by this expression, mu n COX into half into W by L into VGS minus VTH whole square. Here in this expression, you know what exactly we mean by VGS and VTH, but the other parameters you are, I suppose you don't know what exactly is mu n COX W and L. So this mu n is referred to as charge carrier effective mobility. Charge carrier effective mobility. This means this is with respect to the manufacturing of the MOS devices. This is a parameter. Let us not go into the details of this. When you study the VLSI circuits later, right? So you will be having a detailed exposure on this. Mu n is the charge carrier effective mobility. Then COX, C definitely is the capacitance. This is called as the oxide capacitance. Whenever you manufacture the MOS devices, all these parameters have their own influence on the drain current. This is called as oxide capacitance. This is called as oxide capacitance. Then W by L is obviously the ratio of width to length of the channel, ratio of width to length ratio of width to length. Then the other parameters I need not mention here, right? You know that ID is the drain current, and of course VGS is the gate to source voltage, VTH is the threshold voltage, right? And lambda, I have already made a mention, it is the channel length modulation. Anyway, I have not considered that particular part lambda in this expression. Had it been considered, this equation would have been slightly different, that 1 minus lambda would have come in the numerator. Anyway, I will take up those points later whenever we discuss about the structure of this MOS device, right? So my drain current, whenever my device is operating in the saturated region, is given by half mu n CoX W by L into VGS minus VTH whole square. This is a very important expression for you to remember, right? So with this now, I will come to the remaining part of the expression, wherein I have written here as I is proportional to V square, and I have already got this particular expression. Now I will write from this square law, I can write as VGS minus VTH whole square, VGS minus VTH whole square is equals to ID divided by half mu n CoX into W by L. I can write it. I just changed this equation, modified this equation. Now, why I have written this expression is I have to get the value for VGS. So my VGS now, if I further simplify, is going to become under root 2 ID, all of you please check this expression, divided by mu n CoX into W by L plus VTH. So this let me call as equation number 3. I have got an expression for VGS. Now we can write from this expression, we have got V in 1 minus V in 2, V in 1 minus V in 2 in our equation. I just move down here. Yeah. V in 1 minus V in 2. You can write V in 1 minus V in 2. All of you please have the paper and pen with you to do this mathematical manipulation. I can write it as, using your mathematical manipulations, 2 into ID1 divided by mu n CoX, W by L. So in fact, the denominator here should have been mu n1 CoX1 into W1 by L1, because I am talking about the first transistor, but we have assumed that the two transistors are symmetric, right? So therefore the values of mu n CoX and W by L are assumed to be same for both the transistors, right? Minus, I write it as under root 2 into ID2 divided by mu n CoX into W by L. This is basically substituting the values of VGS1 and VGS2 in our equation 2. So this I will call as equation number 4. This is by putting the values of VGS1 and VGS2 in equation 2. I will go back to that equation. Yeah, you can see the equation number 2. Here we have got V in 1 minus V in 2 is equals to VGS1 minus VGS2. So there I have put the values of VGS in particular as VGS1 and VGS2. I hope you can follow it, right? So now in this case what I do is this portion I will call it as A for my simplification purpose, only for the purpose of simplification, and this portion I will call it as B, and further I will proceed because our objective here is to get the difference between ID1 and ID2, that is the differential current. So therefore I have to make some mathematical manipulation here. My equation number 4 consists of ID1 and ID2 parameters somewhere in the equation number 4, but I have to get the differential current ID1 minus ID2. So therefore I have to now square the equation number 4, right? When I square the equation number 4, my square root gets vanished here. You get something in terms of ID1 and ID2, and taking ID1 plus ID2 equals to ISS. So we have A minus B whole square. Let us say A minus B whole square is equals to A square plus B square minus 2AB. So now one parameter you take as A, another as B, right? So then you have to take ID1 plus ID2 equals to ISS, right? Now I will just write here squaring equation 4 and taking ID1 plus ID2. Sometimes I write it as capital ID1, sometimes I write as small ID. So please let there not be any confusion, right? So you can take it as ID in general. Okay, so this is equals to ISS because ID1 plus ID2 happens to be ISS. You can see here ID1 and ID2, it will be ISS only, right? So now when I do like this, so I will be having some mathematical manipulation here, that is your V in 1 minus V in 2, V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square, because I have to square the entire equation. This will become 2 into ID1 divided by mu n COX into W by L plus 2 into ID2 divided by mu n COX into W by L minus 2 A square plus B square minus 2AB. So this is under root 2 into ID1 divided by mu n COX into W by L into under root 2 into ID2 divided by mu n COX into W by L. So this becomes a little lengthy equation. We will further simplify it. So we have 2ID1 divided by mu n COX into W by L plus 2ID2 divided by mu n COX into W by L, then minus you have 2 into root 2 ID1 into 2 into 2 into root 2 ID1 into root 2 ID2 divided by the whole thing, whatever you have in the denominator, it will be mu n COX W by L, one root and one more root, mu n COX into W by L, right? So if you simplify this, you will get this as 2 into 2 root ID1 root ID2, please check, divided by, whole divided by mu n COX into W by L. 2 into 2 root ID1 root ID2 divided by mu n COX into W by L. So now I will further write this as this is equal to 2, please check, divided by mu n COX into W by L, COX into W by L. In bracket I will write it as ID1 plus ID2, ID1 plus ID2 minus 2 into root ID1 ID2. So this I call as equation number 5, wherein my ID1 plus ID2 is nothing but ISS. So here I have taken 2 divided by mu naught COX into W by L common. So now here what I will do is I will consider this as ISS. ID1 plus ID2 is ISS. Okay. So now by taking 2 divided by mu naught COX into W by L as common, I get the equation number 5. Now I will go to the next part of it, next part of this equation. I can write, please check, half, because this 2 whatever I had previously I will bring this side, okay, and mu n COX into W by L I will take to the numerator here, right? So therefore I am going to get half mu n COX W by L into V1 minus V2 whole square, and this ID1 plus ID2 which is ISS I will bring to the other side. This will become minus ISS, which is equals to minus 2 into root ID1 into ID2. Okay. So now that is equal to half mu n COX into W by L. This is V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square, because our earlier left hand side was only V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square. This is equal to, or this is this minus ISS, this minus ISS is equals to minus 2 into root id1 into id2. This now here, this I will take as A, this as B for my further manipulation. So what I will do here is now squaring both sides and taking 4id1 into id2. You just write squaring both sides and taking squaring both sides and taking 4 into id1 id2. So this will now become 4 into id1 id2 after having squared it. So this will become equal to id1 plus id2 whole square minus, see the mathematical manipulation here, minus id1 minus id2 whole square. So please try to understand what for we are doing all these things. We are trying to correlate your drain current in terms of the input voltage V in 1 minus V in 2. So this I can write as ISS square, because my ID1 plus ID2 is nothing but ISS minus ID1 minus ID2 whole square. So now on the other side, that is on the left hand side, what I would get is 1 by 4, please look here, 1 by 4 mu n square cox square w square divided by L square into V in 1 minus V in 2 to the power of 4 plus ISS square a square plus b square, a plus b whole square. So now you have the values to be taken similar to the expansion of that equation, right? So this square plus this square minus 2 into ISS into half mu n cox w by L into V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square. So this is equal to 4 into ID1 into ID2, because the left hand side. Now we can check this equation. So this is one equation, I mean one part of the equation up to here. This is the other part of the equation wherein you have got ISS square common here. You have got ISS square here. On the other side also you have got ISS square. You can just take it off, right? So now when you remove that ISS square on both the sides, so if you further simplify, you are going to get this equation as 1 by 4 mu n square cox square w square divided by L square into V in 1 minus V in 2 to the power of 4 minus 2 and 2 get cancelled here. You can see here this 2 and this 2 get cancelled. You will have minus ISS remains there, ISS into mu n COX W by L, mu n COX W by L into V in 1 minus V in 2 to the power of 2 equal to, so minus of ID1 minus ID2. So this part, it's a square, minus of ID1 minus ID2, it's square. So you get a slightly lengthy equation now. Okay, so it is just a mathematical manipulation. We have still some more steps. Taking the square root on both the sides, taking square root on both the sides and multiplying by negative sign. Taking square root on both the sides and multiplying by negative sign. Why I have done that is, I want ID1 minus ID2. Right? I want ID1 minus ID2. So that is possible only when I take the square root here, multiplying it by a negative sign, because already existing negative sign vanishes off. So that will further alter your left hand side, because I want the value of ID1 minus ID2. So I can write it here as ID1 minus ID2 is equal to, you can write it now. So on the other side, we have got V in 1 minus V into square. So that will now become V in 1 minus V in 2 only. So this I will take it in bracket. Now the whole thing, the other aspects, right? So I will be taking these things under root and I will rearrange the terms also. So what I would have is this ISS mu n COX into W by L. So ISS mu n COX into W by L minus 1 by 4 when I have changed the sign. So they are interchanged now. So this is mu n square COX square W square divided by L square. All these are squares into V in 1 minus V into square. V in 1 minus V in 2 square to the power of 4 has become square now, because I have taken V in 1 minus V in square as the common one, right? So this is by taking V in 1 minus V in 2 as common. So I have got here V in 1 minus V into square only. Okay. So now if I further simplify this, right, I would get ID1 minus ID2 equal to V in ID1 minus ID2 is equals to half mu n COX into W by L, half mu n COX into W by L into V in 1 minus V into V in 1 second, that is some V in 1 minus V in 2. There is some network issue here. That is the reason why I am not able to write it properly. V in 1 minus V in 2. Now whole under root, we are going to get this as 4 into ISS divided by mu n divided by, so once again, mu n COX mu n COX into W by L into W by L. So there is a small mistake in writing, so please accept it. You know this. 4 ISS divided by mu naught COX into W by L minus you have V in 1 minus V in 2. So this is under whole root minus V in 1 please wait, I'll try to write it in a different manner here. Yeah, V in 1 minus V in 2, this whole square. Please bear with me. V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square. This is square. Because of some network issue, I was not able to write in the freehand. Okay, so anyway, you can understand this. So you have ID1 minus ID2 given by half mu n COX W by L into V in 1 minus V in 2 into bracket under root 4 ISS minus, or 4 ISS divided by mu n COX into W by L minus V in 1 minus V into whole square. So this is the final equation, right, which I wanted to give you, that is the value of ID1 and ID2, that is the drain current ID1 minus ID2 in terms of V in 1 minus V in 2. This is what we had claimed in the beginning also. Basically, in the quantitative analysis, quantify the behavior of the Morse differential pair as a function of input differential voltage, which is V in 1 minus V in 2. So now after having seen this equation, right, we have to take one inference here. Very importantly, we have to take one inference. So what is that inference? Means ID1 minus ID2, ID1 minus ID2, let me make it little big, ID1 minus ID2 is an odd function, of V in 1, odd function of V in 1 minus V in 2. It is an odd function of V in 1 minus V in 2 falling to 0, when V in 1 is equal to V in 2. You know what is the odd function and even function, right? So f of minus x is equals to minus f of x for all values of x. So even function is f of x is equals to f of minus x, right, for all values of x. So ID1 minus ID2 is an odd function of V in 1 minus V in 2 for falling to 0 when V in 1 is equals to V in 2. That is, as you can also write as V in 1 minus V in 2, as V in 1 minus V in 2 increases from 0, that is the modulus, both are modulus only, ID1 minus ID2 also increases. As V in 1 minus V in 2 increases from 0, ID1 minus ID2 also increases. This is another important inference. So what we are interested in this is this equation, right? Obtaining the expression for ID1 minus ID2, that is the drain current, in terms of the input differential voltage and also the physical parameters of the MOS device. What I mean by the physical parameters is the mu n, effective charge mobility carrier, then oxide capacitance COX, width and the length ratio. Then of course you have got ISS, which is nothing but ID1 plus ID2, so which is a function of V in 1 minus V in 2. So this is a very important expression. All of you please try to write it once again. Generally this question is asked for 10 or 12 marks, right? ID1 minus ID2 is equals to half mu n COX W by L into V in 1 minus V in 2 into root 4 ISS divided by mu n COX into W by L minus V in 1 minus V in 2 whole square, right? So this is about today's presentation. I will stop the presentation now.